This video is for Greek class and it goes along with your textbook, Croy. And so if you wanted to grab your textbook and follow along, this is the second part of videos on chapter 7, and this is the slightly longer part. I will also say this, both for the rest of chapter 7 and 8, there's a lot of pieces here that we will learn by practicing them again and again. So if not all the concepts are clear yet, don't worry. We're going to do it a bunch of times and then it will become clear to you. So that's perfectly fine. This second half of the chapter is trying to cover pronouns, personal pronouns, which are like my, our, yours. Greek pronouns agree with their antecedent, and so antecedent is the noun that they agree with. So like my has to do with me, the person Mary. His might have to do with my brother Paul, or something like that. So Greek pronouns have to agree with their whatever they're referring to, the person they're referring to. In number, so singular or plural. So Paul, you'd have his, but my brother's family, you'd have then or theirs, right? They have to agree in gender, like the pronouns must match the gender of the original noun or the original person. But they don't always have the same case because it depends on their function in the sentence. So we'll come back around to that, but that's also something that we'll pick up in chapter 8 even further. So it'll be okay. We'll do this a bunch. As we practice it, it will become more clear. Here are the first person pronouns. And whereas we kind of have some variation in English, because I say I and me and my or mine, in Greek, every single case has a different form. So the nominative looks like this, and this is the word that you're getting in your vocab, ego. Ego eimi, I am, is what Jesus says in the Gospel of John, so that's one that will stick with you, no problem. Or the ego is like I, right? But then here's the genitive, emu or mu, and moi or moi, and me or me. New Testament authors don't do the best job of following when that epsilon is there or not. Again, it's a smoothness thing, and so if the previous word ended in a consonant, you probably have the but New Testament authors are a little inconsistent on that plan. So this is all still words related to just the first person singular. And so if the first person singular is me, Mary, then I could use any of these to refer to my house, or they went to the basketball game with me. Yes, but it takes on all these different forms. Same is true when you have a first person plural. But for the first person plural, you now have, instead of we, ours, us, we have some variation in English. You have these words. Hey, Mace is the word you're getting in your vocabulary, which means we. But if we want to say it's our house, then you say hey, Moan. Dative, hey, Min. Accusative, hey, Moss. I'll say more in a bit about how you're going to remember these or not, but I would start by focusing on like the M for like me is a good way to remember the one singular, and then the hey Mace, hey own is the best way to kind of begin to realize, oh, that must be something about us plural. The more that you see these, the more that you'll recognize them. I don't think you necessarily need to just straight up memorize these. I think we'll learn them from context clues. And so as long as you've got the basic gist by knowing your vocab word, then this is the way that it declines into the different forms, the different cases. So let me walk through translating this a little bit because it's its own set of challenges. You're going to nail, no problem, the first person nominatives like this, ego, blepo, oikon. So blepo is my verb, I see. Ego just reinforces that. I myself see a house, oikon. And so ego is in the nominative. That one's not too bad. And then here is a genitive example. And like I said, it's gonna come to you by doing it in practice. So hakurios mu blepe oikon. Blepe, he, she, or it sees. Who's the he, she, or it? Hakurios is in the nominative, so you know your nominative. The Lord. Whose Lord? My Lord. My Lord sees a house. Mu is in the genitive. How about this one? Hakurios mu blepe me. And so in this case, you have blepe as your verb. He or she or it sees. Hakurios is still in the nominative, so that's the subject. The Lord, my Lord sees. Who? My Lord sees me. Mu is the genitive. Me is the direct object. You're going to be able to recognize these, I promise. Like, the context is going to really help you a lot. And so if you just follow our pattern, find your verb, find your subject, then let the other words fall into place. This is not as overwhelming as it seems at first. You don't have to memorize everything. You're going to be able to get it from practicing it. Okay, let me try these ones as some other examples. Adelphe, didaske, hemas. So didaske is your verb. He, she, or it teaches. Adelphe is a sister. A sister teaches who? Hemas. A sister teaches us, because it's plural. Hemes, Thelomen, Blepain, Uran. Uranon. Thelomen is your main verb, right? We wish, Blepain, to see. The Hemes just reinforces the we. We ourselves want to see heaven. We wish to see heaven. And then ha, theos, akue, hemon. Akue is interesting because akuo as a verb always takes a genitive object, so it's just functioning as the object, but that's why it's in the genitive. So this one is a little bit weird in reasoning, but you're going to be able to follow along here if you follow our steps. Akue, he, she, or it hears. What's in the nominative? Ha, theos. God hears us. God hears us. And so that explains what's going on in this one. I really think practicing these is the key. Let me show you the second person ones. In English, we only have you, but they have you, your, to you, or just you. So su, soy, se. Again, if you learn the vocab word su, you're moving in great pattern for this. Then you can also have these, the y'alls, humes, humon, humin, humas. This is exactly the same as the we ours, but instead of an eta, you have an upsilon at the beginning. So humes is you. That's a way to remember it. So that might help you out. So ego, and then versus the su, you can see how then they follow the same pattern throughout. And so just practicing it, it's going to help you as long as you get the first one. So with the m is me, but the s is you. And then hemes is us, we. Humes is y'all, or you. So you can see the you at the front of it as a way to remember. Okay, let me show you a couple of examples, because again, I think you're going to learn this best by translating sentences, by doing our activities in class, rather than by just trying to memorize it. Ha prophetes hemon didaske tan naman humin. Didaske is my verb. He, she, or it teaches. Who's the person that's teaching? Ha prophetes, the prophet teaches. Whose prophet is it? Hemon. Our prophet teaches the law. Human, to us. Our prophet teaches, or to y'all, sorry. Our prophet teaches the law to you. Sorry, you plural, y'all. Okay, how about this one? Ha theos, pempe, ton, angalan, humon, meta, lagu, humin. Angalan, you have two gammas, but the first one makes an N sound when you have two in a row. So that's why you say it that, like an angel. The verb, though. The verb is pempe. He, she, or it sends. Who can be the subject? Ha theos is in the nominative. So God sends the angel. Whose angel? Your angel. You see that you at the beginning? Your angel with a word for y'all. And then here's another one. Su, bales, tus, hemon, lithus, apo, tes, hadu, su. Okay. Again, you probably wouldn't get this many pronouns in a regular sentence. I'm just showing you some examples. Su, bales is you throw. And the su just reinforces that because bales already says that. You throw our stones from your way or out of your way. And so you were throwing our stones out of your way or from your way. You've got this. I think just practicing it will help. When it comes to the third person pronouns, again, this is why I don't want you to memorize it. You're going to have every gender, masculine, feminine, and neuter. You're going to have to singular and plural, and you're going to have to have all the cases. And the gender and number are going to help you figure out who it's talking about, like who the pronoun is referring to. But the case is going to change depending on what it's doing in the sentence. These are also noun names that you already know. And so it seems like a big deal. It seems like a big chart, but it's not. If you were to take off the first 3 letters there, the out, just look at the ending. That's the masculine you already know. Logos, lagu, lago, lagon is the feminine you already know. Let's see, which one did you get? Phone, phone, phones, phone, phone. It's the neuter that you already know. Like it's actually not that much more. It's just now autos, aute, auta. And so if you just know that first line, what's in your vocabulary, then this chart you don't have to memorize. You're just going to recognize. All the things in the first part mean he, his, from him or to him, and then him. And then in the second chart, it means like she, of her or hers, to her, and then the neuter would be it, its, to it. It's going to work, but it makes the most sense to learn these in context in the translating of sentences. So these are the endings. They're the endings you already know, and they're just added to this beginning out sound. So autos, aute, auta. If you just learn your vocab, don't worry about memorizing this chart. Instead, recognize it in person. I will say this, because if it was a rough breathing mark, it would change the word in this case. So autos, aute, auta is got this smooth breathing mark. Looks like an apostrophe over the second vowel there. And just note that as you're going by. The agreement between antecedents and pronouns means this. The pronoun always agrees with the noun that it refers to in gender and in number, but the case can change depending on its function in the sentence. You've seen that kind of in the examples that I've given already. We'll talk about it more in class and in our homework. Here's an example though. Hey Adelphe, Bale, Autes, Arton. The sister throws her bread. Her is still feminine and singular, but now you've got a genitive case instead of a nominative case because her, it's possession of her bread, right? Here's another example. Blepomen, we see. Tous adelphus, kai legomen autois. We see the brothers and we speak with them. It refers back to brothers. Brothers was originally in the accusative. Brothers is plural and masculine. Autois is plural and masculine, but it's now in the dative. You're not writing Greek, you're recognizing Greek. And so what I would say is read through this chapter a couple times. This is a slightly longer video because this is a slightly more complicated idea. Watch it a couple of times. If you still have questions, you can email me or you can bring them to class. But the main thing I would do is press ahead. Like go ahead and try the homework. Come to class ready to try things out, and the more that you do this in context, it's going to make sense. And I don't think memorizing the chart is going to help you as much as just like reading sentences and getting used to it. It will come, I think, pretty naturally, because whether you know it or not, you already have all the building blocks to make this happen, and now you're just trying to recognize it. And the more times you do it, the more easily you're going to recognize it, and the more familiar it's going to become to you. So you got this. I promise you, the more that we practice it, the just smoother and smoother it's going to be, and it'll just make total sense to you. So, but again, if you have questions, feel free to email me or bring them with you to class. Okay, great.